What's up YouTube, welcome back to Celio's Network. I published a gameplay video with the Roxie spread deck a few days ago, and I've gotten a fair amount of requests to show off a deck list for this deck. And this deck list has a few changes since the video. I'm not sure exactly how viable this deck could be, but I think it's a really interesting concept. It has some combos you can pull off because of Roxie and the Weezing and Koffings, and then the Mimikyu to use Roxie again. It's just a very cool deck with some really unique interactions that we don't see a lot in meta decks and in meta matchups. So yeah, we'll go over this deck list, and I will export it to put into the description so you guys can import it to PTCGO yourself. So we'll start with the main cards. So we're focusing on Roxie. Supporter card, discard up to 2 Pokemon that are not GX or EX from your hand, and then draw 3 cards for each. So you discard 2 Pokemon and draw 6 cards. So this by itself is a very good draw supporter. Discard 2, draw 6 is pretty amazing. Since we have like a shuffle, draw 6, and we have Cynthia Caitlin get a supporter, discard, draw 3. We have Lily in the format that's draw up to 6 or up to 8 if it's your first turn, but discard 2, draw 6 is very good as long as you're running enough non-GX Pokemon to discard for the cost. Now, Weezing and Koffing both have the effect Blow Away Bomb. We're playing 3 of the Weezing and 4 of the Koffing. Blow Away Bomb reads, once during your turn, when you discard this Pokemon with the effect of Roxie, you may put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's Pokemon. So if you discard a Koffing and a Weezing, or 2 of just one of the Pokemon, you spread 2 damage counters to your opponent's whole board. And you're drawing 6. So that's really good. And then the next interaction we have is the Mimikyu with Impersonation. Discard a supporter card from your hand. If you do, use the effect of that card as the effect of this attack. So you could essentially use 2 Roxies in 1 turn, draw a maximum of 12 cards off of those Roxies, and spread a maximum of 4 damage counters to your opponent's entire board if you used 2 Roxies. Mimikyu also has the Mischievous Hands attack. Choose 2 of your opponent's Pokemon and put 2 damage counters on each of them. And that's really not bad at all, considering Mew spreads 3 damage counters however you like. This is spreading 2 and 2, which is a total of 4 damage counters. So I think this Mimikyu is very strong in this archetype. I don't think you would ever play it without it. And just the combinations you could do with Impersonation, Roxie, and the Weezings, it's very cool. So we are spreading damage. That's kind of our main strategy here. Then we have Pokemon to help clean up. I have used this Weezing, the one from Unbroken Bonds, just a few times so far. We don't have DCE in the format, but you could just leave it active for its detention gas, or attach 2 energy, or attach an energy and a counter gain. This Weezing has the ability Detention Gas. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's basic Pokemon between turns. And then, of course, the Splattering Sludge does 40 and then 20 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon that already has damage counters on it. Hopefully, all of your opponent's Pokemon will have damage counters on it while you're playing this deck. Then, like I said, we have the Mew to protect our bench Pokemon, and also because Psi Power is pretty good. Then Blacephalon, which is new from Cosmic Eclipse, a Psychic and Colorless Fireworks Bomb. Put 4 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. If your opponent has exactly 3 prize cards remaining, put 12 damage counters instead. So this spreads more damage counters than Espeon Deoxys Tag Team for less energy. And again, we are running a single counter gain, and then also Lana's Fishing Rod that can get the counter gain back if you need to reuse it or you discarded it for some reason. So you can just go energy counter gain and use Fireworks Bomb. We have a few different finishers in the deck. The Blacephalon, then the Tapu Lele with Magical Swap. Move any number of damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon to other Pokemon however you like. Again, this can be used energy, then counter gain. Then I also have a Pheromosa and Buzzwole-GX for its Beast Game GX, which does 50, and then you can take an extra prize card if you knocked out a Pokemon with damage by that attack. So we are running the Beast Energy, and since I wanted to run the Beast Energy Pheromosa Buzzwole combo, I've also added in the Sledgehammer Baby Buzzwole, since that could be very useful, especially if they're running something that's fighting weak. And then the 2 Jirachis, since Stellar Wish is very good. But Mimikyu is also a very good Pokemon to have in the active, so if you don't start Jirachi, maybe you start Mimikyu, or you switch into one of them. There are a lot of new cards in this deck, like the Mimikyu, the Koffing Weezings, and the Blacephalon. Of course, Roxie is brand new, and that's the main part of the deck. We have Cynthia Caitlin, which is put a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand, and then when you play this card, you can discard another card to draw 3. So I think this is really neat to just get a Roxie back and draw 3 cards at the same time. I'm playing 3 Spell Tag, 2 Escape Board, and a Counter Gain, and then to go along with those tools, I have 1 Adventure Bag that can search out 2 of those tools, and then a Lana's Fishing Rod, so maybe you can shuffle back like a Koffing or Weezing and a Spell Tag, and then that's an extra Koffing or Weezing you have to discard with Roxie. I'm running 1 Pal Pad just so we can try to hit Roxies as often as possible. Again, the Pokégear 3.0 so we can hit Roxies as often as possible. 2 Shrine of Punishment, a little low on the stadium count, but I don't have a ton of room. And 2 is seemingly okay for now, but maybe bumping that up in the future. And then just some basic consistency cards, like the Cynthia, the Treasures, the Pokémon, the Switch. And then 1 Great Catcher. This kind of goes with the Pheromosa Buzzwole. If there's a specific GX Pokemon we want to hit with Beast Game GX, we can Great Catcher it up. But I'm not too worried about Gust effects, which is why we only have the 1 in there. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile on the Roxie spread deck. Let me know what you think of it, and if you're trying it out for yourself, and if there's any other ways you can think of to make Roxie and the Weezing Koffings a viable strategy. Check out flipsidegaming.com and use code CELIO for 10% off of your next order $10 or more, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.